You ever watch a stunning documentary or a breaking news report and just assume there's this huge team behind it? Well, you might need to think again. Today, we're diving into the incredible world of the one man crew. That's the single person who's the director, the camera operator, the sound engineer, and the editor, all rolled into one. So, how are they pulling this off, and what does it mean for the future of media? Let's get into it. I mean, it sounds almost impossible, right? For decades, making media meant big teams, even bigger budgets, and just a lot of moving parts. So, how did that whole paradigm just get flipped on its head so dramatically? That is the core question we're going to unpack in this explainer. All right, here's the game plan. We'll start with how this whole solo creator thing even started. Then we'll look at the good stuff and, well, the not so good stuff. We'll check out the gear they use, and finally, we'll take a peek into what's next for media production. So, first up, what exactly is a one man crew, and where did this idea even come from? Okay, so a one man crew, or as they're often called in the journalism world, a video journalist or VJ, is basically a creator who does it all. They single handedly manage the entire production pipeline. And I mean everything, from the initial idea and the research, all the way through filming, getting good audio, and doing the final edit. The whole shebang. So, on one side, you have that traditional model huge, complicated, and honestly, kind of slow. But on the other side, you've got the one man crew. They're nimble, they're fast, and they're way more cost effective. And this isn't just a tiny little change, it's a full on revolution in who gets to tell stories, all made possible by digital cameras and powerful software that have, totally democratized the whole creative process. So, what does all this newfound agility actually get you? Well, it turns out that working lean comes with some pretty serious superpowers. Oh, yeah, the advantages are huge. For starters, you're saving a ton of money on staff. You can move incredibly fast, which is absolutely critical if you're covering breaking news. You have total creative control, no more committees watering down your vision. And here's a really cool one that you might not think about. Just showing up with a small camera is way less intimidating for someone you're interviewing than having a full crew there, and that often leads to way more authentic, powerful moments. But of course, it's not all just creative freedom and zipping around from story to story. Being a one person show, well, it comes with its own unique and pretty heavy set of burdens. Yeah, this is the trade off. The workload is just intense. You are the director, the camera operator, and the sound engineer all at the same time. And when you're juggling that much, quality can sometimes suffer, and the mental strain is absolutely real. Without a team, you lose out on that creative back and forth, that brainstorming. And maybe the biggest risk of all, if a piece of your gear fails, there's no backup. The show just stops. So, knowing all the amazing advantages and the really serious risks, how do the best solo creators actually pull this off? Well, it really comes down to a specific set of skills and having the right gear in your toolkit. Success here really boils down to these 5 pillars. It all starts with technical skill, for sure, but that's just the foundation. All those skills have to serve the art of telling a great story. From there, time management is what lets you balance everything. But when things inevitably go wrong out in the field, and they will, adaptability becomes your most important tool. And then, tying it all together is communication, the ability to really connect with your subject and, of course, your audience. And as for gear, the toolkit is more accessible today than it has ever been. I mean, a good mirrorless camera or even a high-end smartphone can give you cinematic quality, but the pros all know that great audio is non-negotiable. That's where things like lapel and shotgun mics are so important. With a powerful editing program to stitch it all together, the financial barrier to making high-quality stuff has truly never been lower. So finally, let's look ahead. Where is this whole trend of the solo creator actually going? The future is only going to make the one-man crew even more powerful. We're seeing AI editing tools that can create rough cuts for you automatically. Gear is constantly getting smaller, lighter, and more capable. And with cloud-based workflows, a solo creator out in the field can send footage directly to an editor or a platform instantly. It's wild. But let's be super clear about this. This doesn't mean it's the end of big production teams. Not at all. The real takeaway here is balance. A solo creator is the perfect tool for a fast turnaround news story or a really intimate documentary. But for a blockbuster movie or a complex live event, you're always going to need the collaborative power of a specialized crew. The future isn't about one replacing the other. It's about using the right tool for the right story, which really leaves us with one last question to think about. As technology keeps giving the individual the power of an entire studio, what kinds of stories are they going to tell? Is the future of media going to be defined by this singular vision of the lone creator, or will the collaborative power of the team always reign supreme? The answer is going to shape everything we watch.